Hello and welcome to I Watched It With My Wife, Documentary Edition. Woo! This is the podcast where my wife Sarah and I watch documentaries and docuseries and we review them. This week we are reviewing the final episode of This Is A Robbery about the art heist at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston, Massachusetts, and the more than 30-year hunt now for the suspects. In this final episode, we get a look at the some of the mob crew that is suspected of pulling off the hit, and how many of them have been murdered. How many of them are still alive? Hint, it's one from the actual crew. And then some possible leads of where the paintings that were stolen on that night in 1990 have gone. So, Sarah, tell us what you thought of this episode of This Is a Robbery.
So I feel like this episode was a little less sleepy than the prior three.
Mobs will do that.
Yeah. I feel like it was a little less sleepy than the prior three. However, it's still, it's a cliffhanger. It ends on a cliffhanger. We don't know where the paintings are. We know who is suspected of doing it. Most of the people who are suspected of doing it are deceased or suspected of having involvement are deceased, which makes me think that we're never going to find these paintings.
No, I don't think we are either, unless the kids of these people, if these people still have them, the kids or grandkids go like, yeah, let's turn these things in and get them away from us.
Well,
now.
this is what I think. I think that if it was one of the people that's on here that's deceased, the family probably knew that they were in the house and destroyed them, like the wives or something. They destroyed them, or these paintings are shipped very, very far away, and I don't know. I really think that they've been destroyed.
I would not be surprised if they've been destroyed. I also would not be surprised if, somebody that deals in hot properties and organized crime maybe shipped them overseas somewhere to a country that's not likely to look into things.
Like Antarctica? That's my second theory.
She keeps saying Antarctica. Of the ones they suggested, Saudi Arabia is the one that kind of stuck out to me, where they would probably just look the other way at stolen goods coming in. And there's enough people there that it kind of, I feel like it would work.
Well, I think that,
Too few people in Antarctica.
I think that the mafia has people, like, all over the world.
I agree.
Like, don't underestimate the power. They have people all over the world. And connections globally, even though it seems like they only have local connections, I'm sure that those local connections have other connections to bigger networks outside of their general scope. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're in pretty much any other country, just hidden in a basement somewhere, because, what are the chances that an Italian mafia guy owes a Japanese mafia guy money or whatever, or an Italian mafia guy owes an Irish mafia guy something, and here you go, here's your collateral. That's another, like, wild theory I have. I again have this ridiculous Antarctica theory. They took the paintings to Antarctica because who's going to look there? Who's even going to see them there?
Yeah, I can see your point on that.
I mean, nobody's going to look. Nobody's going to see them.
The flip side of that is only like 12 people go to Antarctica year in and year out. So
exactly,
having a Rembrandt or a Monet would stick out like a sore thumb there.
I guarantee you that one of those 12 people in Antarctica have mafia ties.
They very well might.
Or is that just like the New England in me?
That's
probably to think everybody has a mafia, or like 1 out of 12 people have a mafia tie. Is that just a New England thing?
It's not just a New England thing. Chicago and St. Louis have the same thing. You got the Yakuza in Japan. So, Ireland and Italy have their own mobs that, we follow up on here. So It's not just a New England thing, no.
I just think 1 out of 12 people probably have some type of mafia tie. Without knowing it, they might not know it, but and they might not even know that they're possessing what they're possessing. Somebody might have it and not realize even like that this is stolen goods. You know what I mean? Like
I suppose.
that's I think that that's a possibility. I also again I really want to go back to my wife theory. If it was a spouse or child of someone who was involved who was deceased at this point, I really believe that they had a bonfire and those were the first things lit up.
Yeah, certainly possible. One thing I've wondered is what is the statute of limitations on uh, art heists and robberies? That because uh, uh, let's use this David Turner, who's one of the few involved, believed to be involved, still alive, who was just released from prison. Was it 13 years early in 2019? I, you know, would I wouldn't be surprised if the statute of limitations is up. He just pops up one day and it's like, hey, I've had them all along.
Yeah, but I don't know about that.
He's the type of guy that would be like, yep, oh, hey, you can't get me now. I'll take the $10 million for these things I stole from you.
I don't know about that because I think that they're probably on him like the feds are probably still on him and watching him, and I think he really needs to just lay low.
Oh, I'm certain he needs to lay low until the
But
statute of limitations is
and
up.
I think that there's other things that he may or may not have been involved in or something else going on that may be around, and this is only a theory that he could get got on. And I don't know. I really think that if he does have anything to do with it, he's not saying nothing. Because even if he does, there's somebody else who's gonna punish him for it. Because because coming out with this information is going to tarnish a family name. It's gonna disrespect a memory of a person. It's the people who know about it are not going to talk. The items, again, if they're still intact, they're far, far away. They've gone into hands, into hands, into hands, into hands. And all people who talk. And I guarantee you, if they investigate and find more people who may or may not be associated with handling the paintings, I guarantee you they're going to find deaths around these people if these people are even still alive.
That's kind of why I'm wondering what David Turner knows, because it's talking about almost everybody connected to him has died, usually in some gruesome way.
And if that's the case, are you going to talk?
If I'm David, well, most people believe David Turner was involved in offing most of these people.
Yeah, but there's still another off guy. I'm not talking. If I'm David Turner, I'm not talking. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I am laying low. I saw what happened to my friends. I may or may not have been involved in it, or you don't know that he didn't have to be either, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This is mafia related. This is not like everyday. This is different. It's different. So I really think that in his situation, we're not going to hear from him. And the final surviving guy is
Bobby Gentile.
yeah, and he's in prison still.
No, he's out of prison.
He's out of prison.
He's out of prison.
He's really really in poor health though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he's in
They
poor
thought he
health.
was going to die a couple times.
Yes, they thought he was going to die in prison. He was in the prison hospital, and they thought they were going to get a deathbed confession from him about this, and he made it through the night.
Fun fact, he's from Connecticut.
Yes, he's from Hartford. He seems to be the link and the missing link the FBI is looking for, that thinks this, the paintings were taken from Boston up to Maine, through Hartford, and then down to Philadelphia, where he was known to be a member of the Philadelphia mob at one point in his life. So if
Well,
that trail is accurate, it makes sense that they're following him. The flip side of that is, and his own lawyers have said that, he has never told the truth a day in his life. So why would you believe him?
and where would they be? And yeah, I don't know. Again, that is a possibility. That is a possibility that one of his associates, someone that's very close to him, is that missing link, who's not a chatty person.
And they've also kind of pointed out that David Turner spent time in Hartford.
That's a possibility too. There's a lot of, because we don't know where the paintings are, we really can't pinpoint it to anybody. I don't think we're ever going to know the full story. I really think that they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah, I tend to think that they're gone too. But it's it's fun to speculate.
It is. And it's kind of sad. It does make me a little sad because I'm not like an artsy person, but they are very pretty. And it's really sad to see like the empty frames and the owner of the museum, or the not the owner, but the CEO of the museum,
Curator,
curator,
or former curator.
yeah, basically saying, I think these paintings will come back. It's like you almost feel bad for her, but it's like, to her, in her world, this is like a missing child.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This is like if your kid went missing. That's how much these paintings mean to the art community.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, they're just desperate to get these things back, and I don't think they ever will.
No, I don't think so either. And like I said, it makes me sad and it makes me feel bad for the people. And I think that there were a few people in the documentary who were like, these are not coming back. I think there were quite a few people in the documentary who believe they weren't coming back.
Pretty much the journalists and the police officers, the investigators, the attorneys are all pretty much set in stone. They don't think it's coming back unless, basically one of the two guys that are still alive that they believe are involved talks.
But I firmly believe that neither one of them even know where they are anymore.
That's, yeah.
They pass it on to somebody, who pass it on to somebody, who pass it on to somebody. Either that, or they knew very little and somebody who's not with us anymore, the family destroyed it. Those are my two theories.
All right. Well, let's move on to our to Sarah's favorite segment, Snacks with Sarah.
Snacks with Sarah is kind of boring tonight. Snacks with Sarah was the Aldi brand cheese puffs.
Yes, Clancy's.
Yes, but I do like those cheese. I actually like the Aldi brand better because they use less dyes and stuff like that, and they color their food with turmeric instead of like the yellow dyes and the red dyes and the synthetic dyes. So I really like that about Aldi a lot. They have a, for an affordable, or for a very affordable grocery chain, they make sure that they're not selling crap for their brands, and I respect and appreciate that of Aldi. I go there often to get my groceries because it's right down the street, and yeah, they don't put extra crap in their food. So I feel like their cheese puffs have a little bit of flavor than the Cheetos that the Cheetos don't have. They're less salty, but they have more of a flavor, if I had to describe them better.
Okay.
You don't notice a difference?
Not really.
Okay.
I just noticed cheese.
That's just how refined my taste buds are. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
And for my beverage, I have my favorite wine, Barefoot Pink Moscato.
Yes, I had the Walmart brand Dr. Thunder. We watched all 4 episodes, so let's rank this docuseries, Sarah. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank This Is a Robbery?
Okay, so I have to go for all the 4 episodes. I don't like that it ended on a cliffhanger. That's never fun for me. I like conclusions. I like endings. I like to know what happened.
Well, somebody's going to have to find the paintings before that can happen, though.
Exactly. So I have to lower it down. So I have to lower the ranking down for that. And also, the first 3 episodes were almost impossible for me to get through without falling asleep. I think we watched the first episode like 4 times. and I fell asleep all 4 times, and I think we did the same thing with the second episode. Those 2 things, I have to rank this, I'm gonna say either a 4 or 5.
Okay. I'm gonna give this a 7.5 because the content is really good. It's a really well done docuseries, but yes, the music does make it very easy to fall asleep to.
The monotone of the voices
the
of the actor or the
There's not an
people in
actor
it.
in there.
No,
Yeah.
not actors, but the monotone, the
The
lack of
police officers
enthusiasm.
specifically.
Not just the police officers, but the journalists and the artsy people. They're just not enthusiastic about the case.
All right. So, but that'll wrap up our review of This Is a Robbery on Netflix. Check it out. All right. Well, that will wrap up this episode of I Watched It With My Wife. If you want to check out our other documentaries and docuseries podcast or our movie podcast where I Watched It With My Wife, we are on pretty much any podcasting platform. We have some stuff on YouTube as well. We have a flow code that we'll put in the description, so you can click on that to so you can check that out. You can find us on withmywifepod.com. We also have merchandise on there. We are available on Facebook. I Watched It With My Wife. Instagram with my wife pod, and Twitter at WatchWife. And we also you can also check out some of our other podcasts: Caregiver Chronicles, I Listen With My Wife, or Racing with Remy. We'll see you next time on I Watched It With My Wife. Bye, everyone.
Bye.